Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to the garden here in Neath, South Wales. Well, you all know the saying, right plant, right place. And today I need to move just one or two of my plants into better positions in the garden. So come and watch me work and let's get started. One of the jobs that I want to do today is to put this Sago Palm into the ground. Now at the moment I've got this in a pot and I bought this a few weeks ago and I've been looking around the garden to see where I can put it, and I've also been looking at different things on YouTube and just to see if it is possible to grow them in the ground, and apparently it is. So I thought I'd place it here instead of the hebe. I'll find somewhere else to put that as it's protected by some plants over the top of it, and it's also got the protection of the wall behind it. And I think there's less chance of it sort of freezing through here. And if need be, I can always come out and just put a little bit of fleece over it during the colder spells. So first things first, let's get this hebe out to the ground. I'll find somewhere to pop this. It's a lovely plant, so I don't want to get rid of it, but I will find somewhere else to pop this in the garden, and I'll just place it over there for the time being. And then secondly, let's get this hole a little bit deeper in the garden. Now in the pot, this has already had a lot of gravel mixed in with the compost. So I'm going to use some of that to place around the bottom. And that will aid the drainage. And then I just got to sort out what kind of angle I want the Sago Palm to be. Well, that does look nice there. And I think I need to just tilt it at a slight angle. And then just top it up with the gravel. So I'm hoping that in the ground it will have a little bit better drainage than what it would have had in the pot. And give that a little even over. So once it's in, I will give it a water just to settle in the roots. I know they prefer it to be quite dry, but nevertheless it will need the roots settling in. And that was a much easier job than what I thought. So that plant can be put somewhere. And that's job number one. This plant here is a Yaka Jewel, and I planted this on the end of the border not that long ago, but I don't think it's particularly hardy in the UK. So, and it's also in the way of the pathway. If this gets any bigger, I'm not going to be able to get through here. So what I'm going to do is dig this one up, find somewhere else to put it in the garden. I haven't decided yet if I'll put it down the bottom of the garden or if I'll place this in a pot. I'll dig it up and then I'll decide what to do with it later. I never plan anything in the garden. I actually like these grasses here, so I don't really want to disturb these too much. And I don't know if I'll be able to get this out. Let's have a look at digging a hole for this yucca. Now the earth down here does tend to be quite dry anyway, so let's have a look, see if that will fit in there. Whew. After a good tidy up now of the pathways, I'm going to give everything a good watering in, and then we'll come back in a few days' time and have a look and see how it all looks. It's turned out today to be beautiful and sunny, and I wasn't expecting this today. So let's have a look now and see how this part of the garden border is looking. There's a few people in the background mowing their lawns, so I do apologise if you can hear the mowers going. So this has got a lot more space now in this border since I removed that yucca, and I can walk through the pathway now with plenty of space. And in the centre I've just planted a GM Totally Tangerine. This is just from another part of the garden, and this is a perennial, so it'll die back throughout the winter and come back next year with some fresh new flowers. Another job that's kept me busy this week is trimming back some of these Fargesia rufa bamboos, and these were hanging right the way over the pathway, and so by trimming back some of the lower leaves it's just opened up the pathway so I can get through and enabled me to have a little bit more planting space where I can plant some heucheras and some grasses. Now the Sago Palm, like I said, now that's got a little bit of overhead protection for the winter months, and I think that looks really nice there, just placed on the end. And I've just placed back the decorative pebbles and just added a few grasses just around the front there for a little bit of interest. And fingers crossed now this will be okay here. And there's a lovely little butterfly there. It's just landed on my bamboo. Beautiful sight in the garden, and it's lovely to see a little bit of wildlife. So just walking now down the garden path towards the bottom of the garden. I've just got to show you the growth that's appeared on my Schefflera. This is a Schefflera taiwaniana, and I have been feeding this with, well, I fed it once with some Miracle Grow granules, and that's supposed to give 6 months of feed. Now it was at one point looking quite yellow, but that now is looking in really good health. And just delving deeper into the garden, at the bottom there, that's where the new Trachycarpus is planted. Now this has settled in really well. I've given it a few waterings, as we have been a bit light on the rainfall here in South Wales. My water butts are quite dry at the moment, but luckily we're not on a hose pipe ban yet. And so far so good. I'm really loving this plant. Just moving to the left of that, we've got a lovely example of a Trachycarpus wagi that's been in the ground now for a few years. And past the euphorbia. I think the flower stems on this need to be trimmed back quite soon, as they've now died back. And in the corner there behind the greenhouse is where I've now planted the hebe. And that should get quite a bit of sun there, especially in the morning and the late afternoon. The salvia, now purple and bloom, is just starting to come into flower also. And this grew last year into a large plant. It was huge, and I'm hoping that it'll come back the same this year. It's lovely to have a flower on it. Such a beautiful colour. The agapanthus fireworks, I've moved these now into a sunny position, as it's such a beautiful day today. And these are in terracotta pots, and I've got 2 of these plants, and the flowers on these are wonderful. I often get asked about the front of the house, and I don't have a front garden, but I do tend to keep some flowers in pots. So at the moment I tend to chop and change what I keep out here. I've got a black bamboo and my dahlia pots, and these dahlia pots get full sun all afternoon, and these purple ones are doing particularly well. And this is my doormat, Croesio, which means welcome in Welsh. And I noticed the other day, just tucked in amongst the foliage, underneath our largest banana, we've got 2 new pups. One of them is growing really well, but the other one is very, very tiny, just behind the persicaria. So I'll keep these well watered, and hopefully we'll have 2 new bananas here. I've also got to find time today to do exactly the same with this Fagecia bamboo. It needs to be trimmed back, just some of the lower stems, as it's totally now covering the pathway. And it's very difficult to get around the garden. I'll do that this afternoon when the weather cools down. Thank you so much for joining me today and seeing what I've been doing the last few days in the garden. So I know some of you do wonder where Tony is, and unfortunately Tony's in work today. I tend to do most of my videos on a Thursday as it's my day off, but he's got to work. So I'm sure he'll catch up with you soon. And until next time, if you like videos like this, please comment, like and subscribe. And I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.